Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Chava Mahler. I am a practitioner of Chinese medicine and an expert in applied Chinese astrology. I've been away for a bit dealing with some health issues, but I'm starting to get back into the swing of things, and it's great to be back. I'm a little behind on questions that people have asked me. I'm getting back into the swing of things slowly. Hopefully, we're going to be back to a video a week. For the foreseeable future if nothing else comes up. But before I get into my backlog of questions, I wanted to show you just something short and fun to ease back into things. And so this is a question that I answered for a friend of mine. During the period that I was not working so much, I watched a lot of Netflix, and including the first couple seasons of The Crown. And a friend who I was watching at the same time with asked if I could do the maps for some of the characters on The Crown, who are actually obviously based on real people, even if all of the events in the Netflix series aren't one-to-one same as happened in reality. And so for your edification and delight, I have brought here the charts for the sadly late Queen Elizabeth and her sister, Princess Margaret. I thought today it would be interesting to focus on one specific aspect of the chart, which is the stem energy. So the stem energy represents the energy that the energy or the action, the activity, the thing that a person feels like they need to do in the world, what someone feels like their mission is, you could say. Because they were born at a time when the balance of the world, the energies in the world was such that this is what the world particularly needed. And so people who were born at that time were born into the world, bringing with them energy that was needed in the world at that point in time. So the other reason that I thought that, other than the charts being an interesting exercise in compare and contrast, the other reason that I thought that it would be good to talk about this subject specifically is that a lot of times people ask me, well, if everything about our personality is dictated by the time we were born or by the energy balance when and where we were born, why aren't children who are born on the same day in the same hospital all identical? And the answer is, first of all, this does not dictate everything about our personality. It doesn't dictate most aspects of our personality. We know from studies that a lot of a person's behavior, beliefs, opinions are influenced more by genetics than anything else. That's not to say that genetics are the only thing that influences, but they have a larger influence than any other one aspect. And the other thing that has a very, very strong effect on how a person's personality will develop is obviously their upbringing. We can add in other things like epigenetics, the things that their parents went through, particularly the mother, and particularly during pregnancy, but not only. They're now doing studies on how fathers can pass on physically traumatic experiences like famine and war to the way their children's genes are expressed. So there are obviously a lot of things that affect a person's personality. And I think one of the really clear-cut ways that we can demonstrate this is with, for example, someone like Queen Elizabeth, where, yes, there were thousands, maybe millions, not that good at math, of other people who were born at that time, on that day. Many other people were born locally. They were born in England and experienced a very similar balance of energies. But if we just look at the upbringing, obviously, Queen Elizabeth's upbringing was different than that of anyone else and very different than her sister. And on the other hand, we have the genetic influences that, again, are most of, or the largest part of the pie, largest single slice of the pie when we're talking about people's personality. So the part of the personality that is most influenced, I'm sorry, my cat, regular viewers know MJ is shredding basically everything else in the room as I'm trying to talk. So it's a little bit distracting. I hope you can't hear anything. Where was I? What? 1 second. How's that? Sorry about that. I don't have time to stop and re-record this. Like, very tight schedule today, so we're just going to let that go. The things that, or the aspects of our personality, our behavior, our life, our circumstances that are most strongly influenced by the energy or the astrology, the time and the place at which we were born, and how that affects us and the way our soul expresses itself in life, are in things like feeling, the feeling of what our mission is in life and what our primary values are. Now, when I say mission, I don't obviously mean that everyone who's born at this point in this time felt like they needed to build the largest empire on earth. Obviously not. But in terms of the thing that a person is put here to do, the mission that they feel they have to carry out, can be the same, but expressed very, very differently. And so if we look here, the STEM energy is the one that I write in bold. So we have here SI. The SI, yeah, positive. I'm not going to go into most of the chart. If people want, I'm happy to come back and do that at some point. But what that represents is actually, because the terminology that we use in the system is based on the physical body, so that represents the energy of the small intestine. And the small intestine is called, in Chinese medical philosophy, the great builder of man. What the small intestine represents at an energetic level is the ability to sort through everything that's presented and to take in everything that can serve us and to make it part of us, to take all sorts of desperate and defined individual things and turn them into part of one larger creation. And so, an example that one of my teachers used once is, say at 11 a.m., there are two separate beings that are not connected to each other in any way. One is Hava and one is a banana. And then I feel hungry. I eat the banana. I would not do this if I'm allergic to bananas, but this is the example used, and so it's the one that came to mind. And at some point while I'm eating it, I could spit it back out. It's still two separate things. There's still Hava, there's still the banana. And you can even pop my stomach later on, and shortly later on, and get back the banana. It would still be separate from me. Hava, and inside me would be the banana. Trying not to go on a tangent. I will link to the YouTube video I'm thinking of now below if you want to see something hilarious. Okay, so Hava, banana separate, Hava containing banana. Once the banana reaches the small intestine, then my body starts absorbing all of the aspects of the banana, all of the chi, all of the energy, all of the minerals, all of the sugars probably. I don't know what banana is so much, except for the fiber that doesn't really get absorbed. And once that is absorbed by the small intestine into my bloodstream, there are no longer two separate entities. It's no longer Hava and banana. There is just Hava, who is now richer in potassium and probably glucose and whatever else it is that bananas contain. So we have two separate things that became one, and hopefully became one thing which is greater and better than the two separate things we had before. So that is what the small intestine represents at the emotional, psychic, mental, and philosophical level. So there. So obviously, if you happen to be born into a position where you are actually an empress, then you can carry out that mission on a global scale by trying to take various different countries, groups of people, political beliefs, whatever, and combine them into one thing. And so we have here a case of someone's natural drive towards what they feel like they need to do in the world, and the job that they were given, that they were lucky enough to end up in, being the perfect fit for that. But other people who are born with that same drive, with that same need to take things and bring them together and make them one thing that is greater than the whole of its parts, might end up not being born uh, into a royal family where they end up uh, being the figurehead of a literal empire built up of many small pieces. But they may end up being someone who works as I've forgotten how you say it in English, a counselor who works with a mediator who tries to bring people together so they don't have to go on to an actual lawsuit. Or they might end up being a business consultant who tries to work specifically with people whose partnerships aren't going well. Or they might be someone, a marriage counselor, or they might be a yoga teacher who works on helping people connect between their body and their spirit, or a dance teacher who takes many different individuals and puts them together into a group that moves with one spirit. So we can take the same drive and we can apply it in many, 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 many different aspects of life. Okay, I think that I actually won't show you Princess Margaret's chart now because I feel like that was a really good summary of what I wanted to say, and I don't want to distract by adding in different aspects of the chart. So we can do that another time if people are interested. Right, so the main message here is, my main message is the points that I wanted to make in general, and specifically in this video, are that astrology obviously does not dictate everything. It doesn't even dictate anything. It just gives us a certain push in a particular direction, and that the drive that we are born with to accomplish some specific thing in our life can be carried out and can be fulfilled in many, many different ways, in many different aspects of our life. We will probably be happier people overall if we can find a job or a mission that is congruent with the drive that we were born with the mission that we feel like we were put on this earth to carry out. But even if that is not the case, if you have this particular energy and your job is currently washing dishes, then you can try and think about how you can express that drive in other aspects of your life, maybe in some way that you volunteer, or in a hobby, or in your family, or find some way to feel like you are contributing the energy that you were put here to contribute, and that will go a long way towards making you happier. And once you're happier, you will be, according to many, many different studies, more effective and better at finding a new job. So thank you very much. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for coming back after the very long break, and I hope to see you next week. Anyone who has any questions about this or other questions they want me to answer, please feel free to leave a comment, send me an email, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.